What is Pixel Weekly? Back with another video, and this time I'm actually doing something completely different than I normally do ever. And this is actually going to be a tutorial video, which I never thought I'd actually do, but when you think about it, I'm actually really glad I'm doing it, because now this is the video editor I use. It doesn't look much like a video editor right now, but trust me, it will in a few seconds. And I really love using it, and I want more people to use it because it's really underrated. Because it's an amazing editor. You can do so much on it. So I just wanted to give a quick tutorial of everything that I wanted to know when I first started using this editor, just all in one video. And I'll try to be as quick as possible, because I know if you want one specific thing, you don't want to watch a whole entire half-an-hour video or something. So I'm gonna try to go quick without being confusing. So when you open Blender, you'll likely see this. You will see this actually. This is the basic 3D editor. This is if you want to do some 3D animation, like 3D rendering. This is fine for this is a fine render animator thing, but we don't want that. We don't want a video editor. So to get to the video editor, all you need to do is go up here to default, click this little drop down thing, and go down all the way to the bottom to video editing, and it should bring you to something that looks like this. For right now, don't worry about this guy. Don't worry about these things down here. I'll explain them in a sec. All I need to worry about is the timeline right here and where your video will be showing. So this is where your video will be showing, and to get something to play there, all you need to do is to import a video. But you might be wondering, how do I import a video at all? You might think to go to add and then movie, and that's a perfectly viable way, but I think that's a little tedious. I usually just like to keep a file open, like a file finder thing open, and then just go to my video. That way it's always open no matter what, and I can always find it. So let's say I want to use let's find my intro. So in Dropbox right here, I don't know why my intro is in Dropbox, but whatever. Here's my intro, just the normal 3 circles. I actually made this intro in Blender, fun fact right there. But this is my intro. It's 200 frames long, and frames are extremely important in Blender. Basically, that's what allows you to edit in this in the first place. Keyframes, frames. I'll explain it all to you in this video if I remember, and I will remember. But right now, you might be wondering, what's this darker gray right here for? Well, if you've experimented at all in Blender, you might already know that's where the video stops. It just repeats. And it only gives you something like 250 frames to work with, which is horrible. We need a lot of frames to make a video. So let's just go down here. This is where you'll extend the frame. It starts at frame 1 and it ends. Let's make it end at, and the easiest way I usually do this is to just click and drag to where my videos are. But for this video, I'm just going to make it early, and then I'll edit it later if I need to. So let's just say we want it to end at 7,500 frames. And 7,500 might sound insane, but really it's a very viable amount for Blender. So now you see that we have all of this room, and now what used to be only 250 frames long is 7,500 frames long. So that'll help us a lot in the long run. And this green cursor here is actually where, when you bring in a video or an audio strip, this is where the video will be. So say if I clicked here and then I brought in a video like I don't know, my Clipchart 6 review from a long time ago, it will stop right there. And if you want to change that, it's not hard. You just click and drag with the right click and just drag it around. It's not working now, but like here, you can just click and drag. And by the way, the turquoise is the audio strip, and the darker blue is the video strip. Never get those confused, because then you'll just have blank video and just audio. So I don't want to bring the Clipchart 6 review right now. I want to bring in, let's just try to make my keyboard review, my keyboard and mouse review from last week. So let's just say I want to bring, I don't know. Oh, I know. The unboxing video right here. So once I bring that in, I'll move it to where I want it. First, I'll delete the audio because I don't need the audio. I do voiceovers. So I'll delete the audio, and then I'll bring it back to where I want it to be. So say if I just want it to cut straight to the point, I'll just bring it one frame after this one ends. So then it'll just cut right to the video. But I don't want that. I think that looks kind of bad. I like to have a little bit of fun with the animations and stuff. What I've been doing lately is something called wipe. So basically you get to do that, and to do basically every transition in Blender. And I'll also show you how to do crossfade, because I use crossfade for everything. Just right click one of the strips you want to use, and then go over to the other one and shift right click to select them both. And then now you're going to go down to add effect strip way up here, and this is a very important section in Blender. It has almost everything you'll need in Blender, and it's like it's necessary to use Blender. So for this one, we're going to go up to wipe, which is a transition. We're going to click that, and as you can see, it went between the two strips because we selected them both. That's usually what happens with transitions, is it just goes between the two strips. And to edit this strip, so right now it's just a vertical drop down. I don't like that. I think that looks kind of corny, kind of Windows Movie Maker-y. I just have to go down and by the way, if you don't have this when you first start Blender, if it looks like this, just press the N key, and then it should bring it in. This is also very important. To change this to what I usually have, what we're going to be doing is changing the angle and changing the direction, and also changing how many transitions there are. So first we're going to change the angle. So I like to usually do it at -45 degrees. So now you can see how it's at an angle instead of just straight down. So now instead of straight down, it just kind of zips across at a 45-degree angle. But I don't want that. I also think that looks bad. So I'm also going to go to double, and now instead of one 45-degree angle, there are two different 45-degree angles all splitting away. I also don't like that. I think that looks horrible. And I'd rather it come in, I'd rather the new video come in than the old video go out. So we just have to press in. So now, this might look familiar if you're watching my videos, now the video comes in from either side. And I think that looks a lot more modern, a lot better. But of course, you can play around with these settings, see exactly what you like. Say you prefer this, then if you prefer that, then that's fine. I've actually never tried iris. I don't know what that is. Let's see. Oh, okay. It's literally just a circle. Okay. But I usually like to stick with this. So now we have a transition. But the problem is, I kind of want some music to go with this video. I don't want it to just be nothingness. I don't want it to just be my voice. I think that would sound terrible. It'd be very boring. And I know some YouTubers actually do just have their voice, some huge YouTubers, and for them it sounds fine, but for me, I usually like to have a little bit of something in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a song, go back to our file explorer, and most of my songs are my downloads. So if we just go down to, let's just say we want Gensation Donuts. Just again drag and drop, and then it'll go right where the green cursor is. Oh yeah, and to do this, to explore through, just click the middle mouse button, and then move wherever you want your mouse to be. That's why mice are so vital to Blender, because on a normal laptop the trackpad doesn't have the middle mouse button. But what you're going to want to do now is you kind of want the audio to start at the beginning of the video, and not just at some random point in the video. So we're just going to drag the, well, you actually don't have to do this, but I usually do this. You just drag the green cursor back, and then you right click, and then you just go wherever you want. Again, you don't have to do that. You can have the green cursor wherever you want it and still drag, but that's just me preparing for what I'm going to be doing next, which is adding another audio strip. This one will just be audio that goes over everything. So I'm going to be this is just the audio for the actual video that I did. I'm just going to choose a random audio that I have saved, like MSI portable gaming laptop. That's actually my most popular video right now. And we're just going to pretend that is the audio we need for this video. And I usually start it right after the transition ends, just so there's kind of a smooth flow of video and audio going on. So now we have that working. We can move on. So now we're going to move on to actual speed, because I don't want this entire dragged out horrible unboxing video. And I kind of want it to just be quick, like 5 times faster, just so we can see the gist of the unboxing and get on with the review. So to do that, you right click the strip you want to make go faster or slower, and then you go over to add, effect strip again, and then speed control. This one's kind of self-explanatory because it is what its title says. It's just speed control. So what you want to do first is actually uncheck this little guy right here. You do not want that. That'll make your life so much worse in the long run if you have that checked. So just uncheck that. And it's better if you don't find out what that does, because it causes a lot of frustration. But so now keep this checked. This right here uses speed. Keep that checked. And what we're going to do now is make the speed factor 1, and then multiply speed, I'm going to say, I don't know, 5 times, just to make it go really extremely fast. So now we have 1/5 of the time just going extremely quickly, just so you get the gist of the unboxing. You get everything, you see everything, you see the box itself, but you don't have to go through each long attempt to open the box or each long you just get a quick slide through it. And actually, you might be hearing the MSI gaming laptop review. I'm actually going to exit out so you guys don't have to hear that in the background. But what I'm going to do next is, as you can see, when it's done, it just stops on the last frame. It doesn't do anything. It's just the same frame over and over and over again. And it does that until the strip ends, which is over here at 1 minute and 40 seconds. And we do not want like 1 minute and 20 seconds of just pure blankness. We want to make it just so it ends right at the frame it stops at, so right here. And then we just have to right click the strip, go to strip, and then either cut hard at frame or cut soft at frame. I usually go with cut soft at frame. There's a difference between the two. I don't remember exactly what the difference is. It doesn't make too much of a big deal if you click this instead of this. I usually just go with soft. And then you can go ahead and right click the unusable video of just the same frame. And then for the rest of the video, you can just move on with your life. So let's say I want to bring in some other random video. You want to add a transition between the unboxing and this video. So you just, I usually stick with 10 frames between each transition. Or in each transition I stick to 10 frames. Just because I want it to be quick and to the point and not dragged on. So to achieve that, right click the first video, shift right click the next video, go to add, effect strip, and this time we're not going to use wipe, we're going to use cross, because we want a cross fade between the two videos. And with this one, the good thing about this one is it does everything basically automatically, so you don't have to worry about changing any settings. And of course you can change some settings. I never do, just because I like the way it looks already. I think it's a nice smooth transition between the two things. And by the way, we don't live in Illinois. That's just the rental car license plate. But basically we just go through like this, and then we got the video. So let's say we want to add an outro, which a lot of people don't do. They usually keep the a lot of people on video editors don't do that. But first we're actually going to make this song a lot quieter, because it might be kind of overwhelming you guys. 0.04 is usually where I stick. It sounds insane going from 1 to 0.04 in the volume, but it actually doesn't sound too bad. But from then on, to add an outro, we again go 10 frames after this. So let's say that's 97, so we go to first let me get the picture, the outro picture. Downloads, no, it's in pictures, I think. And then outro picture. Oh, there it is. Outro reel. And then we just drag that wherever we need it. So 97, so we're going to go to 07, 10 frames after. Of course, make our transition, so I'm not going to show you guys how to do it because it's just the same thing over again. And then we got a nice smooth cross between the end of this video and the beginning of this video. And if we want it to last the entirety of this, like if we want this picture, because it's just a solid picture, we can actually drag it out so it lasts longer with the right click. With the right click, we just right click and drag to as ever long as we want, and it stays on the frame for the entire time. And after that, let's say we want to maybe add our last video, just to kind of say, hey, if you want to check this out, you can. We just go to our last video, which in my case is in the video section. I think it's, oh, where is it? Let's just say it's going to be MSI video, 2 MSI things. But we're going to delete the audio because we don't want that, because it'll kind of overwhelm, you know, the music. It'll be really complex. It'll just suck. But right now, it's not looking too much like an outro because it's just our video. We want it to be tiny and in like in a little box form. To fix that, we can go to Add, Effect Strip, and then Transform. And once we're in Transform is super important when it comes to video editing, especially if you're editing pictures. And I use Transform so much when I was editing the PC gaming PC build guide. I used it a lot to make things smaller and make pictures smaller. And to make the video smaller, it's the same process. Just go to scale right here and go down, and whatever size you want. Like in this case, I want it to be 0.45 and then 0.45. And then you might be saying to yourself, well, there's nothing behind the video, it's just the video but tinier. And to fix that, scroll up to where it says replace, click that and go to alpha over. Now this video will be over the last video. But I don't really want my intro in the outro. Oxymoron. But I don't really want my intro to be in the outro of this video, just because it's kind of boring. You see the intro. I just want to show the video itself. So if I just want to show, like, I don't even want to show the unboxing in this case because that's also kind of boring. So I'm just going to go way up. Nah, I'll show the unboxing, whatever, just to make things simpler. But let's just cut it right here, right where the intro ends, right there. So we're going to go to strip. Oh, first we're going to right click the strip you want to cut. Strip, cut soft to frame. And then now we can, this is just the intro, so we can go ahead and right clicked and then erase strip. And it's my mistake because I just erased the transform. I'm just going to do this real quick, and I'm actually going to skip this part of the video. Okay, now we got this put back in place. So to move it, we just have to right click and then move it to where we want. So I'm just going to put my green little bar thing where I want it to be, just so I have a little guide to where I want it to be. The first frame that is just completely outro is right here. So we're just going to drag it back until it hits that, like right there. As you can see, it's a few frames behind, and I don't want that, so I'm going to go ahead and drag it just a few frames ahead right there. And then once we're here, we can go ahead and cut off whatever we don't need. So let's just say we don't need this. We don't need all this. So I'll just go to all of these, strip, cut soft, cut soft to frame, cut soft to frame. And then now all ends a uniform spot, so we can go ahead and drag the end spot back to where we need it now, which is way back here. And that's just this, even though we're dragging it way back, it's a lot more convenient than dragging it forward every few seconds. So we can go ahead and stop it right there. And to get a fade out effect in the video, we just go to wherever we want the fade out to begin. This is also pretty important. We go back to we go up to opacity, right click it, say insert keyframe, and remember where you want it to start. You right click and press insert keyframe, and then you go to where you want the fade out to end. So in this case it's the very end of the video, and we go to opacity again. We erased 1. We put in 0 because we want the opacity of the video to be 0. Right click and insert keyframe, and actually that worked. Okay, and to do it to this one, we do the exact same process. We go to where we want it to begin. In this case, we click on transform, because if there's a transform, instead of clicking opacity on the actual video, you click it on the transform strip. Right click, insert keyframe, go to where you want it to end, make it 0 because you want it to not have any opacity at all, and insert keyframe. So now it should have a nice fade out effect, right, like that. And we could be done right now, but I actually want to show you guys one more thing, and that is how to get your music to be quieter, like in the middle of the video. It's the same exact process. So let's say the music is at, instead of 0.04, it's at 0.4, so it's a lot louder. You can hear it really well, but you only want it to hear it really well before you start talking. So if you want that, if that's the case, you just go to where you want the fade out to begin to get quieter. Right click, insert keyframe. It's the exact same process. Go to where you where the talking begins, and then go ahead and put in the volume you want it to be. So in this case 0.04, because I want to hear my voice over the music. Right click it, insert keyframe, and then it should be perfect. And then if you want to make the music louder in the end, then you just do the exact same process but backwards. You right click here, click here, and then you insert keyframe, go to where you want it to be at its loudest point, and then make it 0.4 or however loud you want it to be. Right click and insert keyframe. So now it should be exactly how you want it. We can just play through this real quick, and it should be perfect. We could see some of, I think this is Montana, maybe? If it's not Montana, I apologize to anyone who lives in Montana, because I got your state wrong. I don't know exactly where this was. This is we drove to Washington. This is on our trip, and I just took a lot of videos on the camera. So now that we have our video done, we have everything we want to see. We have the trip, we have the unboxing, we have the outro. We can go ahead and render it. And this is where this part comes in over here. This part is very important. This is how you render it. So of course the resolution, depending on your camera, say you have a 720p, you'd want this to be 1280 on X by 720 on Y. Mine is a full 1080p, so it's 1920 on X and 1080 on Y. And you want it to be at whatever frame rate your camera works at. So mine's kind of weird. Sometimes it says it's best at 29.97. Sometimes it says it's best at 30. It can work all the way up to 60, or maybe even more. I've never used custom before, but whatever. And then if you want to save it to your desktop, of course you probably want to save it to your desktop. The best way to save it is Xvid. You could try these other things. MPEG, I've tried MPEG multiple times. These don't usually work for me. Xvid has always worked fine. And you let's see. You want the format to match the output, and then of course, where's the audio? MP3. You want the audio to be MP3. And the bitrate's fine. Everything in here is fine. You don't have to change any of that. And basically, just try to match. If anything's not matching mine, you can just try to match it. As long as it's, that's probably not your file location. But everything you see here is usually how it works. And then if you, right now, if we press animation, it'll render right here. And we don't want it to render right here. We want it to render in a new screen. So to change that, we just left click it and then press new window, and we're ready. This renders it right here. So we just press animation. And this, I've actually done this on purpose because this is an error I've gotten and I've freaked out over. After putting hours of work into a video, I got this error that just said, oh, it can't render. I looked it up online, took me a while to look it up, and I found out it's just because the frame rate's slightly off and I need to change it to 29.97. For me, it's very bipolar. Sometimes it's 30, sometimes 30 is fine, sometimes it's 29.97. Usually it's 29.97 for me, but I've had it at 30 before. Don't freak out if you get that error. Just change the frame rate, try to experiment with some things, and it should be fine. Now if we click animation, it'll start rendering. I don't want to see the render though, so I'm just gonna go out, and as you can see, it's making a file right here. So I'm actually going to skip ahead, stop the video, and I'll be right back when the file is done. Okay, so the video is now done. As you can see, it looks exactly the same. It's just the name of the file is the frame 0 to 2328. We can open the video and we can see that it looks exactly how we want it to look. If we don't like it, we could of course go back to Blender, and that's why I always keep my Blender edits open before I do anything. Before I exit out, just in case I notice something in the video that I don't like or that I don't want. And that has actually happened many times before. I've had to actually restart the entire project even once, and luckily it wasn't a huge project. It was just one of my normal videos. So let's just try to open this real quick. And as you can see, it looks exact. It's nice and smooth. 1080p, 30 frames per second. There's the wipe animation. Here's the quick unboxing of it. You could probably hear some of the music in the background. I'm hoping you can actually hear my voice over it though. So you can of course see, it's really quick, it's to the point. You can see the gist of the unboxing. You see how good the unboxing was, if it was good, and then you can also see our next video. You can see how smooth the transition was between the two. And it just fades in really quickly, and you can see me zooming into the mountains and stuff. And as you can see, there's our intro. Our transition to the outro. You don't see the video is nice and small. You don't see the intro in the outro. You can just see it's going along with its music, and then you can finally see how I don't think I actually added fade out to the music, so you might be hearing just regular music until the video stops. But of course we have 9 seconds left, and we can go ahead and start seeing the fade out any second now, just like that. And okay, so that actually happens to me all the time, where the video inside doesn't fade out. I honestly don't know how to fix that. I've tried so many different things, but it's never fixed that. So if you ever see it on one of my videos, just know I tried to fade out and it didn't work. I've actually restarted a project because of that, and I got the exact same results. So, whatever. It doesn't ruin the entire video. But if that happens, just know I don't know how to fix it. But from there, the video is completely done. If you want to rename it, you can right click and press rename. I'm gonna rename it to let's see, rename. I'm just gonna rename it. I don't know. Video project 1 or something like that. Just something where I easily know where it is. And then from there, if you want it to be simpler to upload, you can. What I usually do is I just drag it and drop it into my videos, and you can see video project 1 right there. You can go and exit out, and then you're done. That's how to make a full video in Blender. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask down below. I'll try to get back to you as fast as I can. And you can usually I wait until after I upload the video before I X out the Blender project, just in case. But just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to exit out right now because I'm not planning on uploading it. But anyway, thanks for watching this. If you want another tutorial, I can totally do it. Just ask for what you want the tutorial over. I just recently got GIMP, So, I mean, I might be practicing with that with my thumbnails. I usually use Pixlr, but I'm going to try with GIMP a little bit just because I know a lot of people use it. Ask me if you want any tutorials about Audacity, GIMP, Pixlr, any of those things. I can totally do a tutorial over. And of course, I'll talk to you guys next time. Make sure to subscribe to Pixel Weekly and stay tuned for more Pixel Weekly. Alright, bye.